What's up guys, Blake here from GuideToVaping.com, and today I'm going to be hydro dipping the Reuleaux DNA200 mod.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
So if you guys don't know what hydro dipping is, or hydrographics as they call it, it's basically when you transfer an image onto another surface while it's in the water. Now I know you've seen some of the YouTube videos where people are putting like awesome designs on their controllers for their Xbox and other different devices, and I figured what the hell, I'll try it too, but I'm going to try it with the Reuleaux DNA200. So guys, what I actually did, I went to Google and I searched up a dipping kit, and I found this place called mydipkitstore.com, and basically this is the dip kit that I'm going to be using for the Reuleaux DNA200. Now with this dip kit, everything is included that I need. For example, the gloves come in this kit, the mask that you'll need since you're going to be painting. It includes an activator, the primer, the base coat, the top coat, the film, the scuff pad. So basically you're getting everything that you need to transfer this image that I picked out onto your device. And as you can tell, this is basically what it comes in this tube. So guys, this is the dip kit that I'm going to be using today for this little project that we're going to do on the Reuleaux DNA200. Alright, so we're going to open up this tube that I bought. Now I paid like, I think it was $80 shipped for this kit. I think it's like $69 and then shipping or whatever and tax and all that. But anyways, I paid around $80 for this full kit. And now we're going to open it up and see everything that came in the kit. Oops. Okay, when you get it, don't rip this up, because this is actually the instructions to do this. Yeah, I didn't know that this kit, paper that was around it, I didn't know it was instructions. So if you decide to do this, don't rip that up. So the first thing we got here, it says save money, shop at our online store, www.dipkitstore.com. And then it says here, just for you guys that if you actually order from this place, enter coupon code 5 FIVE during checkout to receive an additional 5 feet of film with each kit. And then I also got a mydipkitstore.com sticker. And then I got this paper that says, what's your big idea? Well, I don't know. It don't matter about that. And then here we have the actual film. It looks like. So we got to be super careful with this stuff.
You need to read the instructions before you start doing all that.
Alright guys, so this is going to take a little while. You know, when you're painting, anytime you're painting something, you got to allow time for it to actually dry. So this is going to take a while, but right now what we're going to do, we're going to pull out the paint, and then we're going to start prepping the parts that I'm going to be painting on the Reuleaux DNA200. Alright, so with this Reuleaux DNA200, I'm obviously not going to take this whole damn thing apart and put it all in there. But you see with the Reuleaux DNA200, you have these the dark gray part, the gunmetal looking color, basically that, and this gunmetal color here in the back, which is your battery cover. Those are the parts that I'm actually going to be dipping. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take these parts off, and then I'm going to start prepping them. Alright, so basically let's take this apart. Here's our battery cover. This is one part that we're going to be putting the image on. Then we have to take out these screws. Now what we're doing while we're taking out these screws right here is because this is actually going to release the front plate on the Reuleaux DNA200. Alright guys, so there's that plate that we needed. So here we have both parts that we have to prep. Alright guys, and this is the paint that came with this kit. This was what was in the tube. You had this right here, which is the medium brown paint color. This is the gray etch primer. Here we have the high gloss clear, and this last one is the activator. And then they also sent this right here. Let's get this. So obviously here's your mask, and then in this little baggie, this is the scuff pad that we're going to be using, and then you got some gloves. Alright, so the first thing we're going to be doing, guys, we're going to be taking that scuff pad and we're going to be just scuffing up that paint just a bit. Now the reason why you're going to scuff this paint up is because you want to remove anything that's not only on this paint, but you want to scuff up this paint so everything will stick to it. Once you got that clear coat off, basically, you're pretty much good as far as the scuffing goes. And then we're going to be doing our other piece, which is the front plate. Now on this piece right here, you want to make sure that you get in those little lines right there on the front plate. Alright, so that's it guys. We got that scuffed up. And now you want to take those two pieces and clean them. But first, make sure that you put on your gloves. We're going to take these two pieces that we scuffed up and that we're going to prep. We're going to actually clean that, get some Dawn or something like that. Put some of that on there and then come and get this and get it cleaned up. Remove any kind of debris on it. So once you get these basically cleaned up, washed off, you got all the soap and everything off of them. And then we're going to be putting this on a paper towel. Let that sit for a second. Now get you a clean paper towel and wipe that down just a bit. So guys, basically once you do this part, you can look at your back cover or the faceplate, whatever you've dried off. Basically you don't want to see any kind of shine to it. And that lets you know that you've got that top coat off of this part. There we go guys, everything's dried up and ready to go. Alright guys, I don't know if you can hear me, the wind's blowing a little bit, but when I put this thing right here on the mask, shit's starting to get real. Alright, so what you want to do with this primer, this is the gray etch primer, you want to shake it on up a little bit. Pop the top, make sure it's good to go, and then put some light coats on here. Now we're going to let this sit for a little bit. Alright guys, now we're going to be doing another coat of primer. Just a light coat. Now we're going to be letting this sit for just a little bit longer, and now we're going to spray it one more time, putting a light coat on it. Now guys, when you're waiting on the whole painting process, this is why it's always good to have a backup device. So while my Reuleaux DNA200 is out of commission and we're working on it, I'm using the K-Box. For some reason, I just think the K-Box and the Sub-Tank Mini, or the Top Tank Mini as it is now, I think it's just a great pairing and it just performs well. While I do receive all the latest tanks, and I know you guys have moved on and went to better and bigger tanks, for some reason the Sub-Tank Mini just does it for me. It's just a good bait. It's damn good. So guys, when you're doing this whole process of painting and moving parts and stuff like that, you'll want to make sure that if you've touched anything with the old gloves, you want to make sure that you take those off and then find some more to put on, because if you get any kind of grease on these gloves and then you start handling the parts, and then it's going to transfer to that part that you just cleaned. And you know me guys, I always got some handy silicone gloves laying around the house. You never know when you have to do what you got to do, you know what I'm saying? Alright guys, so what we're going to do now is we're going to be taking the clean side of that scuff pad and we're going to be lightly scuffing up that primer. Alright, once we've done that guys, we're going to take a piece of paper towel and we're going to kind of go over that to get some of that dust off. And there we go guys. I had to take off my mask. It was fogging up my glasses, I couldn't breathe, and I almost passed out. But we're now to the next step, and the next step is applying the base color. Now this base color that I went with like a wood type graphic, so what I have to use for my particular image is the medium brown base coat. Alright guys, you'll want to shake this thing up a bit, pop the top, make sure it's coming out good, and then start applying it lightly. Alright guys, so we're going to let this thing sit right here, and we're going to come back in a little bit and apply another coat to it. Alright guys, now we're going to put another coat on it. Alright guys, so now we're going to let that dry. We just sprayed our base coat. We sprayed a light coat on there first, and then we sprayed another coat on there. You don't want to spray this stuff too much at once, especially you don't want to spray enough where it runs. But now we're going to let that sit for a little while, let it dry up, and then we're going to be taking it inside to put it actually in the water and apply that image. Alright guys, so it is the next day now, and I had to stop doing the project yesterday because my battery died, plus I had to pull some things off of my SD card. It was just a bunch of crap. So anyways, we're back at it again today. I got the pieces done, as you can see. I already showed you guys that. So now the next step is actually submerging these into the water. But before we actually transfer that film onto our parts, we have to cut our film, and we're also going to be putting masking tape around it to help stabilize the film. Alright, so we're going to pull out what we need. Since these parts are small, you're not really going to need to cut off much of this film. So I'm going to get my handy dandy pink and purple scissors. So since we got to cut something small, I'll start right here. Alright, so now we're going to cut that in half. Since remember, we don't really need that big of pieces. Alright, so now I have my 2 pieces, and we're going to use, I don't have masking tape. Yeah, I'm not prepared. But since I don't have masking tape, I'm going to use this green tape that I happen to have. But anyways, they say that this is, use the tape so that you can stabilize the film. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm doing what the instruction says. Alright guys, now you see that I basically taped off a square, and now you'll need to pull these up and cut slits in them. So you need to cut a slit here on each flat side. So here, 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 and same thing on the other one. Alright, so now I got those cut on all 4 sides. Now it's time for us to pretty much fill our bucket with water. Alright guys, so when you do this, the thing about this is you have to hold this plate, the front plate for the Reuleaux DNA200. You can't hold it like this and submerge it into that water, because where your fingers are going to be, that's where that ink needs to be going onto. So the only thing that I can think of to do is use these tweezers. I guess I'm going to try to put it in this hole like this and submerge it. That way I'm exposing the full face of this part. Now for this other side, this is the only way that I thought of to do this one. I'm just going to kind of grip it a certain way like that and submerge it in there. It's kind of bootleg, but this is the only option that we have with these small parts like this. So guys, what we're going to do now is we're actually going to lay the film inside of the water. So what I had to do is I bought this bucket right here, and I filled it with pretty warm water. They say that it helps if you fill it with warmer water. Now they say to grab both ends like this on each corner, and then gently put it into the water. You don't want any kind of air bubbles under the film. So guys, just let this sit for about 60 seconds, and then you'll want to spray your activator. Alright, now we're going to spray the activator. And you'll see things start to liquefy. Alright, now that it's done that, you see guys that kind of went off to the side. So I need to hurry up and get this done. I messed up some on the edge there because it slipped out from my fingers, but overall it's still pretty good. Alright guys, so that was a little bit tougher than I thought. When I was actually putting it into the water, oh man, I'm messy. When I was actually putting it into the water, it started to slip away from my hand, and I actually lost it. So I had to pick it up. After, I mean, I've already, submerged it in there good, but I then had to go in down at the bottom and kind of pick it up to make sure that I could get it out. Unfortunately, my thumb scraped the edge of it, but it'll be all right. Alright guys, so I still have enough of this in here. I know I'm supposed to do a whole nother sheet. I already even cut the whole sheet, but unfortunately I don't want to spray any more of that in my house, and since this is such a small part, I'm just going to go ahead and dip this and see what happens. Hopefully it looks good. If it don't, then oh well. That's what we're left with. Now I'm sticking it under this warm water to try to get off that excess. This piece right here, I probably messed up by not doing it the way I was supposed to. But, you know, you live and you learn. I know the next piece that I do, it'll come out a lot better. Now, I know what you guys are gonna say. I shouldn't have skimped on that last part. I know. The whole, you know, this whole project's going pretty good, and then at the last part when I'm almost finished, I try to save myself some time and skimp through it and reuse some of that film that was left in that in our bucket. But after I pulled it up, it didn't look too bad, but it still had some of that film staying on there. So I knew right then that, you know, it wasn't going to turn out great. So what I ended up having to do is try to get off as much film of that as possible. Then I had to let it dry for a bit, and then I sanded it down to reveal, you know, the base coat brown. So now here I am again. I filled my bucket up again, and we're about to put in the other part of the film that we cut, and then everything should be good to go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys, I just sprayed that activator in my house, and me and my wife, we were almost choking, dude. The activator is some serious stuff. So if you spray it in your house, it's gonna smell up the whole, you know, the whole area, and it's potent as shit. So now I guess I'm just gonna go ahead and give this another shot. Don't fuck up like I did. Don't try to skimp, because it's always better to just go ahead and do it right the first time. Alright guys, so now we're going to lay this down in here, and hopefully this time everything goes smooth with this piece. So we're just going to let this sit for 60 seconds. Alright guys, so here we're going to spray this activator. Hopefully I position the camera good enough where you guys can see what's actually happening here. Alright, now you can see it kind of breaking away. Now I'm going to dip this in there. And this is the result. I don't know what's going on right here, but it's not, the film didn't stick on there good, but everywhere else everything turned out perfect. This is what we're doing again, is just trying to get that extra film off. You just want to put it under some warm water and just keep running that water over to try to get that film off. Once it dries, this should be a dull color, not a glossy. So if you see any glossy on your part after it's dried, that means that there's still some of that that film on there. Alright guys, so this is basically what we're left with. This one's pretty dry. The other, and it also turned out pretty good. Now this other one, on the other hand, it didn't do so well. Alright guys, so that's what we're left with. I know the light in here isn't that great, but you can see right there, do you see right there on the corner, that's where my thumb hit it. So that's the only bad part about that. Now on the top here, you can see where I made a big boo-boo. Like, it's not looking great at all. Other than that part, everything around it did great. So guys, this is you know, a learning experience for me, and hopefully you guys can get something out of my video in case you guys want to do this yourself at home. Alright guys, so now I'm shaking up this high gloss clear. That's going to be the last coat going on this on these parts. So I'm going to shake this up, and then you're going to see me apply the clear to the face and battery cover of the Reuleaux DNA200. So what you want to do here, guys, with this clear is just basically put on a light coat, just like we did with the other stuff. Let that sit for just a little bit, let it get a little bit tacky, and then put another coat on it. Alright, so now we're going to put our second coat of clear. Alright guys, so basically with this project, I was rushing through it. I'm not making up any excuses really, but I'm going to tell you, I rushed through this project because it's kind of aggravating having to get my wife to help me set up my camera and focus in all the time and all this kind of junk. I can't wait till I get the Canon 80D where I don't have to worry about that anymore. But anyways guys, if you want to perfect something like what I'm doing here with this hydro dipping process, there's ways that you can get into it and perfect it. Once you get the hydro dipping part done, and then you spray your clear coat, you can come back and wet sand it and do a whole different sanding process there to actually get out any of those little bumps in it from when you actually sprayed it. But since I'm not trying to put that much time into it and I'm not really that concerned with it, I just did this because I wanted to see how this whole hydro dipping thing worked, and also while I done it, I wanted to share it with you guys as well. So the next thing you guys are going to actually see is the finished project when I let this clear coat dry. Alright guys, I know what you're probably thinking right now. I done got another shirt on, but no, it's still the same day. I finished this project. I'm about to go to a family reunion, so I had to change my clothes and everything. But other than that guys, I'm finished. Everything looks good. Now, it's not exactly perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there. I could have did a better job. I could have took my time. If I didn't have to mess with the camera though, that would have been one big help. And if me and my wife wasn't fussing through the whole entire process, that would have also helped as well. But other than that, I got everything done and I got it sprayed with the clear. And it looks good. I think it adds a nice element to the Reuleaux DNA200. It gives it, with the burl wood color that I actually got, or the graphic that I got for this project, I think it adds a little bit of class to the Reuleaux DNA200. But anyhow guys, before I get to actually showing you some close-ups of the finished product, I want to go ahead and show you how good I look vaping on it. It looks beautiful. Even though, again, it's not perfect, I could have wet sanded it and made it look super, super glossy. But other than that, it looks good for me.